He did do
No.
that.
Don't use that excuse about the rain. Don't use that excuse about the rain. They had the same opportunities.
You don't make any excuses about the Cowboys. I won't make any excuses for.
No, I mean it was a fact. The ref wasn't aware. Anyways.
Support for Dorm Debate is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code DORMDEBATE.
Ladies and gentlemen, we talk a lot about balls on this show. Context being football. We are Dorm Debate Podcast, and I won't share the details of what I do and don't shave, but a little story for mine is that I lost the usual razor I use. I cut my hair and such, and it was as if someone, I'm not going to say it was Manscaped, but my usual razor disappeared and I could not find it for the life of me. And coincidentally, we got the package, and let me tell you, I was so impressed by the quality of these things. Like, it came in so clutch because I was getting really frustrated that I couldn't find it. I lose things all the time. I haven't lost this guy because the quality is pristine. It comes with a braided cord on the connection, and it's overall a great package, and I'm so happy that we get to share the confidence that Manscaped can bring to you. The Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped has arrived, and it is a game changer. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies.
First off, the Lawnmower 4.0, this trimmer is the future of grooming, and dare I say the greatest ball trimmer ever. I was personally blown away and surprised by the performance and the craftsmanship of this trimmer. You guys know I'm an engineer. I value the ergonomics in products like these, and it's very comfortable to hold in your hand and has a light on it, which I'll get to in a second. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has a 4000K LED spotlight for a more precise shave.
Because this trimmer is waterproof, you can say goodbye to the mess on the bathroom floor. You thought that was good, but want to take your grooming game even further to the next level? The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate nose holes.
The Crop Preserver below-the-waist deodorant and Crop Reviver below-the-waist toner will change the way that you approach your daily hygiene routine. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0. The Manscaped Boxers, which I am wearing right now, and the Shed Travel Bag that I use daily. Bring your comfort and boxers to another level.
Once again, get 20% off and free shipping with the code DORMDEBATE at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And remember to use the code DORMDEBATE. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dorm Debate podcast. Week 1 is over, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching 7 hours of commercial-free football. We all had great times because all of our teams won. Oh, wait. Oh, sorry, Jonathan.
You didn't prepare us for this.
Oh, man.
Before we get into our first topic, I just want to say, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're trying to hit 3,000 subscribers on this channel, so hopefully help us out. I know like 40 to 50% of you that watch are not subscribed, so what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button and help us out and get us to 3,000 subs. Please.
We're begging.
Please.
I'm not begging, but please.
Caleb is. It's okay. All right.
Let's
go.
Without further ado, let's start off with our first pick of the NFL season, now that it's beyond week 1. And, of course, everyone's doing this topic. It's overreactions. So, I'm going to read a statement, and the guys are going to tell me if I'm overreacting or not. Okay? Simple as that. First topic on hand, it's about the Chiefs. Chiefs are still the best team in the AFC despite losing Tyreek Hill. John?
That's an overreaction.
Overreaction.
That is not an overreaction.
Of course.
And I wrote it, so it's not an overreaction. So, John and Caleb, give me some reasons why. John, why don't you start first?
Well, first of all, the Chiefs, yes, they did have a great showing, and you, Jared, and Jonathan picked Mahomes to be your MVP this season, and that might not have been a bad pick, but it's only week one. And what I told people on my live and on the Patreon and on my YouTube video for fantasy is don't overreact to week one. Don't go crazy and think that whatever happens in week one is going to happen all year. I mean, the Chiefs played a Cardinals defense which was horrible, and the Cardinals offense looked horrible just as much. So they weren't able to even keep the ball. So the Chiefs had so many possessions, so much time of possession, and so many opportunities to score. Now, granted, Mahomes did look good with his new pass catchers, Juju and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and Edwards-Helaire out of the backfield got a decent amount of work. But it's obviously still early in the season, and I think the biggest thing in their way to being the best in the AFC is that the Bills are the best in the AFC.
Caleb?
Those props to you, Jonathan, for not jumping on that right away. We'll let you speak. Yeah, I was gonna say, not to add more. I was just thinking the Colts are also in there too. Colts are Bills right now. Just general vibe off of week one.
Did you watch the Colts?
The Colts almost lost to the Texans.
It's okay. It's okay. Here's why it's okay. Guess what team had the most total offense? If we're talking about the best offensive team in the AFC, that team is the Colts. They actually had the most rushing yards and the most passing yards with Matt Ryan. I mean, and that is skewed because I think the Broncos were up on the list of total and passing because they could get to the goal line and get a ton of. It's like in Madden when you let the ball go all the way back, so you can hype up the rank a little bit, get them more points. But yeah, I just think it's too early to tell. Plus, I'd ask you guys, defensively, have they made big improvements? Because throughout the season, there are injuries. Not hoping for it, but we saw what happened to the Chiefs' defense when they lost. Was it Chris Jones, like the one guy, and they struggled a lot. Now, if they've added more depth, that's great. I guess it's just more of a testament to how good Mahomes is, how good that coaching staff is, and it's like not surprising. I just don't think people give them credit because they haven't been as flashy, but MVS, Juju are top tier receivers. So it wasn't like they were trading Tyreek Hill for chumps. Like those are good guys. And it's you look at the situation with the Packers and their receiving core, it's much different, which I know we're going to get into. But that's my thinking. Is just I wouldn't even say the Colts or the Bills. I mean, probably the Bills, I would say too. But like too early to tell. But the defense concerns me for the Chiefs. Like, what have they improved more than last year? So, I mean, we'll see, but it's just too early to tell.
So, look, the Chiefs are the best team in the AFC for multiple reasons. Number one, people were like, "Oh, Tyreek Hill, the Chiefs aren't going to be as effective." They're even more effective without Tyreek Hill because Patrick Mahomes is actually going through his progression and reading the defense and making plays. He threw it to 10 different receivers on Sunday's win, 10 different receivers. And so, again, no matter who you put in the system, Andy Reid's system is going to be successful with Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback. He finds a way to keep plays alive. And so the offense is unstoppable for sure. The defense had a pretty good run. Look, this is the NFL. Every team is good, okay? They're athletes. This is the top level of the football we're talking about here. So you have to give credit to the Chiefs defense for, doing pretty good against the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, again, he's not a scrub. He got paid like over $250 million, okay? And so it's not easy stopping him. Yes, his targets aren't the best right now, but he still can use his legs. He still can make plays. Until the Bills beat the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, in terms of like postseason, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs own Josh Allen and the Bills.
Wait,
right
hold
now.
on.
So,
I have a question for Jared before you talk. You're saying the Chiefs are still the best team in the AFC, but last year the best team in the AFC was the Bengals. So
Well, technically it was the Titans, and then the Bengals won. But you got to realize the last 3 years, the AFC Championship goes through Kansas City.
it goes through Kansas City.
Every
goes through
time.
Kansas
So
City.
you have to beat Kansas City
You have to beat
get
Kansas
to the
City.
AFC. So they are still the top team, whether they win or lose. But
Yeah, exactly.
that championship game has been in Kansas City for the last 3 years.
So they're the best.
So
Until they get dethroned, they're the best.
Fair point. They just got to win. It's like saying when the Bills went to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row, like they were the best team, but they didn't win it. You know what I mean? Like
It's like
but
saying
it means a lot that they go through. It does go through the Chiefs. It goes through Kansas. That does mean a lot.
It's like saying Tom Brady's the best quarterback in football, but the Bills are favored by Vegas to win the Super Bowl. Well, why is that? Brady's the best. So how does that make sense?
Look, the reason the Bills are favored by everybody's picking the Bills because they have the most talent right now. Okay, they have the most talent, but talent doesn't always produce championships, and you always see that. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs own Josh Allen and the Bills. Period.
point blank. Next topic: Packers receivers struggles will keep them from the playoffs.
That's an overreaction.
That's not an overreaction.
I'm saying it is an overreaction.
Okay, so we have John and Caleb as overreaction, and Jonathan is not overreacting to it.
Yeah.
No, I say it's overreaction.
It's like a double. No, the Packers will not struggle at wide receiver, and that won't be the reason why. It is more confusing. Jared, what's your take?
I don't believe that's an overreaction. I think that's the truth. I think that's a fair statement.
Wait, hold
say.
on. Before we get into the debate, so Jared, you and Jonathan think that the Packers won't make the playoffs.
Yes.
In large part because of the wide receiver struggles.
Correct.
Yes.
Are you guys insane right now?
So let
The
me.
NFC sucked.
We know what we
hard
saw.
to make the playoffs.
What
in
was
the
that?
NFC.
I know what I saw. Okay.
We know what we saw.
Let me unpack it, please. Let me
Yes,
unpack.
please go.
Yeah, you guys go.
So I told John last night, actually, the flip side of this. I said, this happened to Aaron Rodgers last year, and they got blown out in the first game, and I overreacted. I'm like, this is the end. He's this, and this, and he's not going to be successful. And then he goes and gets the number 1 seed. But that was with Devontae Adams. And it's pretty easy to turn things around with one of the best receivers in the game. Now, your number 1 receiver is Watson and Valdez-Scantling and Sammy Watkins.
No, Valdez-Scantling's on the Chiefs.
MBS is
sorry.
on the Chiefs now. So who the second guy is?
It's so bad that I can't remember the
You don't
receivers.
remember the name.
No, he's
I
not.
can't
No,
even-
he's not, but it is funny that we have to look him up to confirm.
You are not memorable. So
Okay.
he's working with damn near no names at this point. The running backs are their only saving grace here, with A.J. Dillon as their bell cow and Aaron Jones is doing whatever A.J. Dillon doesn't do. But I don't see any savior for this team because, look, even if they do make the playoffs, I will bet $100 or more, and that's a lot for me, that they'll lose that first playoff game.
I'll bet you $100 right now that the Packers win a playoff game this year.
So that's a
what
lot
I-
for me. So I'm gonna give. I'm gonna take everything he has.
Look, yeah, they have to get there first. They have to get there first because we have the Vikings that have Justin Jefferson right now. Even Aaron Rodgers told him he's probably the best. You can argue he's one of the best players in the NFL right now. Maybe top 3, top 4 in the
Who?
NFL right now. Justin Jefferson.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's not a no name.
And
Okay,
so-
you're actually asking.
Yes.
No,
and
I
so
didn't hear him.
Okay. I was like, that's
so-
Justin
and so,
Jefferson,
look-
dude.
Justin Jefferson along with Dalvin Cook. The Vikings are a playoff contender. Okay. Justin Fields was looking good as y'all saw him
Yeah.
against the 49ers.
The Bears.
Chicago Bears are
It was
playoff
pouring
contenders.
rain, but he did do
No.
well.
Don't use that excuse about the rain.
No,
Don't use that excuse
what?
about the rain. They had the same opportunities. They were both no. Don't do that. They both were playing in the rain. They both had the
You don't
same.
make any excuses about the Cowboys. I won't make any excuses for
No,
Fields.
I mean it was a fact. The ref wasn't aware. Anyways,
I'm sorry.
But
I'm sorry.
but you have the Bears and the Vikings. If I was a Green Bay, I'll be pretty scared. I'll be pretty scared to even make the playoffs. And you're saying they're gonna win a playoff game. Right now, I'll be focused on making the playoffs because right now it's not looking good for them. It's not looking good at all.
Well, they're 0-1. They're the same as the Cowboys. It's not looking
They're
good
dead
for the
last.
Cowboys.
Well, I mean, we're not. Yeah,
All right,
Sorry,
we're at 15 minutes, so John and Caleb,
yeah.
pull together your thoughts.
Add some context for the further discussion. I looked up the receiving core. Randall Cobb, Romeo Dobbs, Travis Fulgham, former Eagle, Lazard. We have Sammy Watkins too.
Yeah, so Lazard didn't play. So you think when he comes back, just magically they're gonna score 40
Yeah,
points?
that's exactly.
They have a
what I think.
lot of young guys. Travis Fulgham
Yeah.
could be a star on that team. I know I'm biased, but he. All right, Jared, what's that look? You don't believe me?
Dude, he disappeared. I didn't even know where he was.
He fell off the face of the earth.
He's back. Now, thing is, with Aaron Rodgers, like if there's no, if you have Aaron Rodgers, he's gonna elevate the team, and it's like every year the first few games start out rough. And
But
this is
his-
like not even last year.
Does he care though? He's like got the bank.
And really, like, I'm tired of him complaining. Like, why are you complaining about your receivers? That's part of the reason they're probably dropping balls on purpose because this guy is cocky, complaining
Dropping
about his
balls
receivers.
on purpose.
Yeah, why don't you go over to that rookie receiver and pat him on the back
We
or
know-
help him out and
Exactly.
talk to him?
We know this about Rodgers. He's not a great. They have a morale problem. He's not great at like encouraging people. He throws a deep ball, and right when the guy drops it, he's just like looks over at the coach, like
Yeah,
He's like,
really?
All right,
he
all right,
doesn't-
Sammy
he doesn't
Watkins.
have any emotion. Every time like nobody's set and he has to take a timeout, he's just
Yeah.
stone faced, like no emotion.
Not cool.
My
man.
thing is, you guys are forgetting that AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones out of the backfield, they really didn't get it going for some reason. I just chalk it up to some morale issue that they just can't. Every week one, they just suck so bad. So I think after week 2, we'll get a better idea. But I think you guys are crazy. You guys forgot about Dillon and Jones and Lazard. I mean, all the guys he was throwing to
I
were the
mentioned all
rookies.
those guys.
You didn't. Well, you forgot how good they were.
Oh, I
couldn't list
have
that.
I have AJ Dillon. He got 20 points, so he did good for
Yeah.
me.
Well, what about Lazard? You forgot about. You did mention him, but
Is he okay? So
What's wrong with him, actually?
he's got some. He's got a like
wrong
some
with-
ankle sprain.
But legit though, you think Lazard and Rodgers have such a great connection that it's just all of a sudden gonna be this
Well, he's
amazing
one of those
duo?
guys that was when
Yeah.
it was MVS and Adams, and I think Cobb was in there too. Lazard is one of the last of that like of the common names. I don't know how many years he was,
Right.
but that was one. He's been there a while. I looked it up because I was thinking like even in high school, this has been a thing where the Packers start off slow. People doubt Aaron Rodgers, and this is the same how we talked about last week how Brady. Every year there's like an off-season drama, and it's like at this point if there isn't, I'd be concerned. So that's why I'm in the same camp as John. Like every year they start off slow. I looked it up. You guys remember when Aaron Rodgers said he spelt it out. He said everyone RELAX, relax.
Yes.
I looked it up because I was like I could have sworn this was high school, but I'm like no way. It's been I'm not that old, but like I looked it up. 2014, September 23rd, 2014. I'm reading an ESPN article. They started out. He was saying relax to fans who were panicking, quote, over the team's 1-2 record and the quarterback's own slow start, end quote. That's literally 8 years ago that this has been happening. And he was 30 at the time, and you know it's like this is why I was like this just seems familiar. This feels familiar. That's why I'm in John's camp. All the reasons you said, John, like. I know it's Rodgers. Rodgers is the bedrock there. So if he gets hurt, that's different. But elevating receivers is not new. Having the running game is new. If you ask me if they'll make the playoffs or win in the playoffs, every year I asked as well, what have they done significantly for the defense? Like they were there offensively last year. Go on.
They actually
It was
got
like a
worse
special-
on defense because they lost to Darius Smith.
It was a special teams collapse in the playoffs. So that's more where I'm concerned. Like you got Aaron Rodgers with nobodies, even though I don't think those receivers are nobodies, so to say. That's more my concern, especially when I don't know how his contract's structured, but sometimes like when Russell, I know we're getting over close to time. When Russell Wilson gets sacked a lot in Seattle, like part of why I think they can't protect their quarterbacks as well is because these contracts are so huge. You can't get enough. I think that's why Brady's success over the years is he took pay cuts, and they were able to leverage that to better defense. I'm not saying don't get paid what you're worth, but the salary cap's a thing. So I'm like, is that affecting, the defense's depth or things like that? Like there's a real, I gotta look it up. It'll be
Devontae Adams is not there. Devontae Adams is not there. It's not the same
and that
story.
doesn't help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it would, but I still think it's just a slow start. I have no heavy concerns.
Let's move on to the person on the back of John's jersey. we haven't talked about the Giants in about 8 years.
Yeah, we really haven't.
We really haven't.
They finally won a game.
They are 1-0 for like the first time in like 6 years, right, John?
Yep.
So, my statement: Saquon Barkley reclaims a spot as a top 5 running back. He led the league in fantasy points. He was the top running back, and he led them to a win over the Titans in Tennessee. So, John, is Saquon Barkley reclaiming a spot as a top 5 running back an overreaction?
No, that's not an overreaction.
Caleb? What was that?
Yeah, it is an overreaction.
Jonathan?
That's an overreaction, big time.
Wow. I do not believe it's an overreaction. So John and I are on one side, and Caleb and Jonathan here on the other.
Right,
So
a
why don't
little disagreement. Me and John have been agreeing too much. A little,
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
change of pace here.
Yeah, I thought Caleb, you were sick or something. So
I-
Caleb, start off because you were the loudest to say yes.
I said yes because I hope not. The reason I hesitated a little bit is because of
Stand your
injuries.
ground, Caleb.
No,
Stand your
I don't. My main argument is as if. All right, hold on. If I frame my argument, it's as if I'm hoping that he gets injured. Like I know he's in the
No.
NFC East. I don't hope that. That's my thing. It's just looking as a commentator, as we debate these things. I think if he's healthy and stays healthy, he could be top 5. I think top 5 is too soon. Because he spent 2019, 2020 injured, with plagued by injuries. 2021 was an off year. Not that he's not a bad player. It's just health issues and the overall team. So it's a really good start that they have right now. But I don't think I see him as a top 5 running back quite yet, just because of the health issues. I hope he doesn't get hurt. It's like if you ask me if McCaffrey's a top 5. Like I think he can be, even at his age. But it's just like, do I trust for the 16 games in such a in-depth position? Will he outpace 5 other running backs to be healthy the whole season and to be in a team that's competitive the whole year? Because the NFC East, who knows, but was usually historically one of the more competitive divisions. So that's why I'm saying no. I don't wish him ill will. I don't want him to get hurt. I don't. It sucks. This is part of the game, but it sucks when the injury is like there's 16 weeks of the regular season, and some injuries take up the whole year. Other sports are year round. It just sucks, but it makes it seem like you're injury prone. But I hope not. I want the Eagles to beat the Giants at full strength. I don't want to bank on injuries. I don't wish them ill, but that's just why.
Yeah. Look, consistency is the mark of a champion. I say that all the time. Consistency is the mark of a champion. This is just week 1, guys. Yes, he had a great game week 1, but like, come on, really? It's week 1. He had one great game. I can name 10 running backs that, let's not get carried away. Maybe there's 5 running backs definitely better than Saquon Barkley. Okay, it doesn't make him a top 5 running back. He's really talented. Yes, he has the big quads and everything. He has potential to be great, but it's just week 1. Last year, where was he? I didn't hear his name much.
He was hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt. He was hurt in quite a few games. But like, what about the year before? I don't hear his name.
He was hurt.
And so he's hurt both seasons, like all 16 games, 16,
Basically.
17. I mean, come
2020
on.
he
Look,
played 2 games. 2019 and 2021 were 13 games played.
Yeah, see, and he still didn't hear his name. And so, look, he had one great game. And we're proud of him. Good. That's encouraging. But like Caleb said, you got to stay healthy. That's part of being a great athlete. That's part of being a great football player. Yes, there's a lot of great football players, but a lot of them get injured.
All right,
You got to stay healthy. That's part of the game.
Is McCaffrey top 5?
Yeah, he's top 5.
Well, he gets injured, but
Well, he's played in a lot of games that he's like every game he's done. I mean, every game he's played, he's done well, right? And he's played in
all right,
5
what
or so
about
games
is
every year,
Derrick
and he's proved himself.
Henry? Derrick Henry top 5?
Yeah, because he
All
played
right.
one
But
full
he gets
season where he's
hurt.
running back.
He gets hurt.
He got hurt last year, but he played one full season where we saw what he could do. We haven't seen what this guy can do. He gets hurt all the time. We don't know if he's still a top 5 running back. We're still evaluating him. We evaluated Derrick Henry. He's good. We evaluated Christian McCaffrey. He's good. We're still evaluating this guy. He had one great game. Yes, but let me see more of this. Let me see this next week. Let me see this week after. Let me see this against the Cowboys. Let me see this against whoever you play.
So, John, can you answer me this? Who had the best run defense last year?
Well, the Titans had the second best run defense, and that's what encourages me about this performance by Barkley. Because not only did he do it in week one, you know, stunning everybody, where the defense is basically looking at Barkley because they know Daniel Jones really can't throw that well. So not only is the defense keying to him, but it's one of the best run defenses in the NFL. They had the second best run defense last season. So for him to put up over 160 rushing yards is really impressive. And I do agree with you guys to some extent. He does need to stay healthy. I think he can reclaim that spot in the top 5. I think he's very close to that. But I agree with you, Jonathan. We do need to see a couple more weeks. Now, if he comes out the next couple weeks and gets like 50 rushing yards and doesn't claim his spot as like this team's like number one go-to guy, then we might need to take a step back. But I think for now, that performance, getting that first win the Giants haven't had, this team believes in him, and I'm hoping he can stay healthy and keep performing at this level. But I do think he can definitely be top 5 this season for sure. Especially with all the other scenarios and all the other teams. There's so many running backs that get hurt every year, so could definitely be top 5.
He has to rush over 100 yards at least the next 5 games
For all
Steven
5?
Yeah, over
What
100
the
yards.
heck? Nobody does that.
Yes,
It's
yes.
record breaking.
No. Over 100 yards. No, over 100 yards. All the good running backs do.
All right,
Jonathan
Dak
Taylor
has
did
to
last year.
throw over 500 yards for 5 straight games. Then he's good.
No, that's 100 yards as a running back, as rushing yards especially. That's the that's the
Benchmark.
KPI. That's the benchmark they use. Right?
Key performance
Yeah,
indicator.
exactly. And so if you're unable to do that, then I don't want to hear him about the top 5.
So
You gotta do that.
you want him to get 100 rushing yards for 5 straight games?
3 to 5. 3 to
Okay.
5. If he gets a 3, okay.
All right. So if he gets
Okay.
3 or 4, you'll say that he's top 5?
I'll say that he's looking good. I'll say looking good.
He's looking good.
And then when
That's
he gets to
promising.
10, you'll say, oh, he's looking really good. But
That's
he's
an
not
acceptable
top 5.
start. I like how me and Jonathan say similar things, but there's so much more gusto with Jonathan. a little more fire to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he does well. I think another thing is we hear a lot about it. It was a great win. I mean, that momentum's a huge thing in the NFL, so it's not for nothing that he gets the 2-point, that happens. But I also think we hear more about it because I think people really want him to do well. I don't mean to say people in general, but like it's like how the Cowboys have a huge media market, the Giants have a huge media market. So since his rookie year, where he did have a historically great, I think, Pro Bowl year, we haven't been able to see those highs since his rookie year. And like you should be improving. Just injuries, man. So I hope he doesn't get injured, but I think you hear more about it. It's why I say it's an overreaction, because it's like you gotta. What is true about Jonathan saying is that you kind of need more of a sample size. So hope he doesn't get hurt. Hope we get to see him the whole season, because it's fun to watch. The best against the best.
It is very similar to McCaffrey, but at full strength, Saquon Barkley can do everything that you could possibly want out of a running back. Everything, John.
How do you know that?
Because he's already done it before.
When
He's been a receiving back. He's been a bell cow.
you're talking about 1 or 2 games.
No, a whole
He made the
rookie
Pro Bowl.
season.
Oh, he made a Pro Bowl, dude. The Pro Bowl is voted on by fans.
No, the rookie season. Did you watch his rookie season?
Yeah, I think he was rookie of the year that year.
Rookie of the year. Listen to the words. Rookie of the year. Okay, he's one of the best rookie running backs. But in terms of the top dogs, the top 5 NFL running backs, come on, I don't think so.
Well,
You would take Zeke over that time?
Zeke has a better stand. He's better show of what he's done.
really
in the NFL
durable. He's at least more durable, I'd say. Well, yeah.
well,
Okay.
We'll go to our last statement, and I'm not used to this team being so bad. The Patriots, they lost 7-20 against the Dolphins. Very simple, guys. The Belichick era is officially over. The reign is over. John, is that an overreaction?
No, that's not an overreaction.
Caleb?
No, it's not.
That's a huge overreaction.
Huge.
Yes, it's a huge
No,
overreaction.
Jonathan, come on.
Dude.
Come on. Who name one of their receivers? Terrible.
No, dude. The question was the Belichick era. No, he can turn this situation around.
I like how
That's
you
what makes him
I
Belichick.
like how you skated around the question of their receivers.
But
Yeah,
but how?
'cause-
How can they do that? How? This team's terrible.
It's not terrible. Look, it was pretty even against the Dolphins. There was just one or two
Pretty
big plays.
even.
There was one, 2, or 3 big plays that the Dolphins
If you
made.
watch the game, it was pretty.
No.
Dolphins.
There's one. It was pretty even across the board, but it was like 1 or 2. They made a couple of big plays, and that's what the difference. That's what's annoying. That's what football is. It's the highest level right now in NFL. So anybody that makes 2 or more plays than the other team is going to win, and that's what happened. When those 2 or 3 plays come, you have to be ready. It can come anytime. You have to
And
stay
the
ready.
Patriots weren't ready.
But they don't
And
have
so-
stars to
Yeah, see?
capitalize on those opportunities.
Mac Jones is not a star. Like all these guys aren't stars, but you have Bill Belichick who can turn things around. Y'all saw what he did last year against the Bills. They beat the Bills last year, the so-called Super Bowl contenders this year.
They
beat
didn't
them
beat
last
them.
year.
They beat them in the cold game.
The
Oh,
Frozen
well,
Bowl.
yes, they still beat them. See what I'm saying?
But they
still beat them.
lost. They lost the actual
Yeah, they
game. They
lost
lost,
the
the playoff game.
Well, it's tough to beat somebody twice. It's tough to beat the same team twice in the season.
Well, the
okay?
Bills
But let
beat
me-
the Patriots twice last season.
Well,
Here's-
I mean, look, let me just say this. The Belichick era is not over because he can turn this thing around. It's about you can find ways to use the strength of your team. Right?
Okay.
They can run the ball. Their line is decent, right?
No offense to the Patriots, but can you name one player that's like above average where you're like, yep, he is like above average at his position and can be a problem?
No, they are all average or below.
They're all
except
average.
for
You all need
their
average.
offensive line. Offensive line, I think Michael on we knew, but
Okay, yeah, dude. All you need is average. And look, again, this is the NFL. They're all
all
good.
you need is average.
Yeah. They're all good. This is the NFL. They're all elite talent.
Okay, yes.
Okay,
that's
so you're
good.
Yeah.
But
And
still,
so, no. Look, the Dolphins and the Patriots, I think they competed pretty well against the Dolphins, considering they have Tyreek Hill and all these guys. But again, there was a couple plays that just got out of their hands. Got out of their hands. But do you think Bill Belichick is going to sit there and lay there and for people like you guys to say his era's over? No,
He can't do anything
He's gonna
about
coach him
it.
up.
He
Oh,
can't.
he can distract. That's where the difference between, look, if you have a coach like Bill Belichick, that can make a big difference. That can make a huge difference. You watch. I think they're going to compete well against the Bills this year and all these other.
All right, Jonathan, how
teams.
about we make a gentleman's bet? Do you think the Patriots will make the playoffs?
Do I think the Patriots will make the playoffs? Yes.
think
All right. How
Yes.
about let's do it. Let's do a gentleman's bet. I don't think they'll make
Okay.
the playoffs.
You don't think they'll make the playoffs? Okay. So can I say what you should do if the Patriots make the playoffs?
Okay.
give me
Okay.
Justin Jefferson.
Okay. Okay. Well, since you criticize Cowboys so much, and then you criticize essentially the state of Texas, you gotta sing the Texas State song on here, and we'll post it on TikTok. And you gotta memorize it. Well, you don't have to memorize it, but you have to know the tune. It's called Texas Our Texas. Texas Our Texas. And I'll buy you a Cowboys hat. I'll buy you a Cowboys hat. You gotta sing it on here in front of the whole TikTok.
You're that confident, Jonathan, because he can dish it back to you something
Yeah.
as
So
bad.
let me think. How about you have to do the New York State song?
You guys have a state song?
I don't know.
Okay.
Let's assume we do.
The New York State song is "Get the F out of the way."
Okay. I don't mind.
How about you have to do it wearing a Bills hat?
I think the Bills hurts more
The Bills-
than being a Giants thing. Like having to do something nice about the Bills. That's not Allen because you have him on fantasy.
Let
I
me-
will add to the not
Yeah,
to distract
Caleb-
from the bet.
I was gonna ask you this because
Yeah, what's up?
you've been saying this for a long time. You don't like the Patriots. Like, give us your thoughts on this because I think you have some strong opinions on this.
Yeah, I've never hidden since the start of this podcast. I've never hidden my dislike for the Patriots. I still stand by it. Personal things aside, I just think I first thought that came to mind was comparing the Belichick situation with Andy Reid when he left the Eagles. Both great coaches in their own ways, in their own rights. Just in this league, you need a quarterback, and I don't think it's an overreaction. I don't think Mac Jones is bad, but if you don't see a huge up in this season, in his sophomore season, then it's like, how much time does Belichick need to get another guy into that system to learn it? Brady was once in a generation, and what I give credit to Belichick and that organization is not wasting the talent that they had with Brady. Whatever he had, they really, I've seen, thinking about Packers and with Rodgers and the Seattle Seahawks with Wilson. Maybe those guys are more talented, but organizationally, I always bring it back to this: is how do they operate? So I guess I don't. It's a strong word to say the era is over, but will they find another quarterback as good as Brady in the next 5 years? It's a very tough sell. And it's not to say he's a bad coach, but I bring up the Andy Reid thing because he had a great success with Donovan McNabb. McNabb went to the Super Bowl when he was healthy. Towards the end of McNabb's career, when he wasn't doing as well, that's when Andy Reid struggled. Because no matter how good of a coach you are, you need those pieces in place. You can't just put chumps in there either. But then you get Michael Vick, you have a resurgence. And sometimes moving to greener pastures is also good. And I think going to the Chiefs to have just a change of scenery was good for him. I'm still a fan of Andy Reid. But then you get Mahomes, and then you can really start to have fun as a coach. And it's like, I think it's hard because you can be a great coach, but you still need that great quarterback. Like, it's not like every coach can elevate that position just because they're that savvy. Even Sean McVay could win a Super Bowl, but he needed Stafford, not Goff. That's not a dig on anyone. It's just like, you're not on the field. So will the Patriots have that? I don't know. And I didn't know this until until you guys were debating with Jonathan. But I was looking it up, and do you guys know much? I just found this out, but do you guys know much about the offensive play calling in New England right now?
Yeah, the defensive coordinator is calling plays.
Yeah, it's apparently and some critics were. This is why I found this article. Critics were not pleased with it, but I believe it's Joe Judge, the former Giants head coach, and I think Josh McDaniels, the defensive coordinator. Well, the former defensive
Matt
or Matt Patricia. Sorry.
Matt Patricia, yeah.
Yeah, those two guys. So it's Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, and Bill Belichick contributing. But I believe this article was saying they expect Patricia to handle the play calling, but it's essentially trial coordinating by committee, which is kind of unheard of. Which I'd kind of give credit towards, like, trying something new. To me, at a glance, I haven't looked more into this. It seems almost like just Belichick giving jobs to old friends, because both Judge and Patricia come from that system. Neither of those guys had a lot of success leaving that system. So to come back, it's like, is this really because you think as a way to change how the NFL works to divide that role? Or is this kind of like, hey, you've been with me a while, I want to help you out? I don't know. But some of the critics were saying, is this good for Mac Jones to have, this instability, or is there drama about who calls the plays, who's not? We look at Baker, say what he will about the talent, but he went through how many head coaches in his 4 years with the Browns? So that affects a player. So even if they're not losing Belichick, now it's Patricia, now it's Judge, who neither of those guys. I think Judge worked with Daniel Jones. I mean, so did they do well? So it's like all these issues, having the right quarterback in the position. Not to say Mac Jones isn't, but the organizational struggle. Will they repeat that success? I don't think so.
And that's a great point, because say they lose a crap ton of games this year and they have the number one pick and they get Bryce Young or something, just hypothetical. What kind of system and culture are you bringing Bryce Young into, where you have no offensive coordinator, you have no real weapons at wide receiver, no great talent at the running back position? That's a terrible system.
Belichick is known his whole career how to run this one system, and he really can't change it. I don't think even if he decided, oh, Mac Jones isn't the guy, let me get Bryce Young and open up this offense and make it like a West Coast passing offense. He can't do it. He doesn't know how to coach that. But he's really good at coaching it how he coaches it. So there is a chance that they could turn this thing around, but he has everybody bought into his system already. He can't change it.
And you guys said name a player, Judon.
Oh, true. Yeah, he is very good.
See? And so their defense is the best part of their team.
Right.
So that's what you have to focus on. Their offense just has to do good enough. Mac
Right.
Jones, he can handle games. He didn't make too much mistakes. He had a tough game against the Dolphins, but in general, he's pretty good at managing the game. And so, yeah, I think that was a huge overreaction. And I think we've yet to see the best of the Patriots this season.
Well, yeah, I don't think hope is lost, but I think in the grand scheme of things, you'll see during Brady and post Brady in the Belichick career.
Well, that is our segment for overreaction. Now we're going to move on to predictions. And I want to do a little recap of last week's predictions as far as the team members go. Last week we had the Raiders versus Chargers, and then we had the Buccaneers versus the Cowboys. Now, Jonathan and I both got the wrong answers. We both picked Cowboys, and we both picked the Raiders. And Caleb and John, you both picked Chargers and Buccaneers. So that's 2 points for John and Caleb, and they are 2-0. Well, Jonathan and me are down at the bottom at 0-2. So now I'm getting serious now that I'm tracking it.
Yeah, me too. It starts now.
It starts now.
It's a whole other competition now on top of fantasy.
I was just making content. Now I'm trying to win.
Now it's you bring numbers into this. I'm like, oh, okay, let's let me think about this now.
Yeah, as soon as you start tracking it, and guess who suggested that? John, of course.
Well, because I just want you guys to know.
Okay.
He's like, I went 2-0. We should start tracking this now.
I like this.
All right, first game. Vikings at Eagles. You knew we had to talk about the Eagles. Amazing performance over the Detroit Lions. Great win. A.J. Brown had a career day. Jalen Hurts was great. Miles Sanders even had a touchdown finally, getting his legs under him. Vikings had another great game, beat the Packers. So they're both on highs, 1-0, but the Vikings are going to travel into Philly. I think it's going to be a great game, high scoring, and I'm going with the Eagles, Caleb.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going down, Caleb's going down with me.
You know. Yeah, that's my take. Eagles. Just adding to it right there.
Jonathan?
Anyone dare disagree?
Can I go last or?
No,
I'm kidding. No.
Well, I think
Okay.
I think it's fair if whoever is in the standings, like last place, has to go first.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Make it
Okay.
take it, basically.
I think again, when I said this earlier, I meant it. Justin Jefferson is probably one of the top 3 players in the NFL right now. The Eagles aren't stopping him. The Vikings are going to beat the Eagles, and I agree. It's going to be a high-scoring game, but if you let the Detroit Lions score 35 points on you, I can only imagine what Justin Jefferson is going to do to the Eagles.
You don't have to worry about that.
Scary
I agree with Jonathan. I think it's a bad sign if you let up 35 points to the Lions.
The Lions are not garbage anymore. That was last year. They DeAndre Swift. I have him on fantasy. Disclaimer, but he's going to be a good running back this year. They might have the top. I think they said this during the game. They have one of the top rated O lines in the league. The Lions do.
Interesting. Well, I'm actually going to pick the Eagles to win this game.
Hey!
So, I think
Yes. I like
wow.
Jonathan, this gives you a great opportunity to get a win on everybody right here.
Yes.
You get a point over all of us if we're wrong.
But I think
This is
that
gonna be
area
awesome.
of play is going to be on Jefferson, and he's going to be able to slow him down enough for Hurts and A.J. Brown to.
It's so disrespectful.
I'm looking forward to it. I want to see somebody slow him down. I really want to see it. I'm just curious to see how
What
it's
about
gonna
Brown? A.J. Brown's a beast too. He might not be Justin Jefferson,
Yeah.
but he had a historic. I think it was
Career
the
day.
third best. Yeah, it was the Eagles' history making for a debut. But in the past 20 years, it was the third best wide receiver performance of a traded receiver to debut on a new team. Third best in 20 years. So I'm like, he's a stud. I knew that since he was on the Titans. Like I had him in fantasy in years past. I mean, Jalen Hurts really likes him, and then you have Smith too. So, divide and conquer a little bit. I think it's going to be a shootout, though. I think those games are always pretty good. Not to underrate some of the Vikings. Cook, right? It's like it could be fun.
Next one is Dolphins at Ravens. Now, the Dolphins, obviously, we just talked about, came off a win against the Patriots, and the Ravens got a dominant win over the Jets, Joe Flacco and the Jets. So, not really much to see there. I am going to go with the Miami Dolphins on this one. As much as I would love to have Lamar Jackson win a game over Tua, I think there's just too much firepower. Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Tua starting to get into his strides. The Dolphins, they're going to be scary. And I think they will have no problem against the Ravens as long as weather permits. So Dolphins for me.
This is a tough one for me because I like both teams this year. Dolphins are
Same.
not for. We've talked about this. Dolphins for years are terrible. I know they're starting to do good. I like the head coach a lot. He seems to have some flair, some style. They won a great game. They're using Tua, so there's a lot to be excited for in the Dolphins. But I'm going with the Ravens this week, simply because the Ravens are healthier. I think Lamar's playing for a contract. So he's betting on himself. Has really, I think as good as coaches they both are, I think Harbaugh has more experience. And you add that they're both running, but that experience added to Lamar's ability to run, the fact that he's playing with like a lot, I'm not saying livelihood, but because he's a millionaire, but playing with something on the line more than just to win the game, and just the overall team of the Ravens, I think it's gonna be a fun game to watch. Like in years past, I'd see this lineup and be like, not too interesting. No, I think this could be an interesting lineup for years to come, but depending where Lamar goes. But yeah, I'm going with Ravens this week. Curious what you guys think and why, but that's generally my feeling.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with Jared and Caleb in that the acquisition of Tyreek Hill has made the Dolphins more lethal, but I think the Ravens' offense and their defense is going to be too unbearable for the Dolphins. I mean, you on the defensive side, you have actual legit players that can execute the game plan, as opposed to the Patriots last week. You didn't have too much great defensive players, right? This week you have actual legit defensive players that can slow down Waddle. There's ways to slow down fast people. You can bump them, do all that. They're smart. They're gonna be able to get it done. And then in terms of the offense, yeah, Lamar Jackson. I mean, come on, he's not gonna. This is the Dolphins we're talking about. They're not gonna be able to stop Lamar Jackson. And so yeah, I'm picking the Ravens to win this one.
I agree with Jonathan and Caleb. I'm taking the Ravens in this game. I think when it's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means, but I think if you think about if it's a tie game going into the fourth quarter, which team do you trust more? Do you trust Lamar Jackson and Justin Tucker to make plays and make a field goal, or do you trust Tua to make some plays with the new Tyreek Hill and stuff like that? So I think it's going to be close, but it's in Baltimore, and I think Mark Andrews is going to have a big game. I think it's going to be close, but I think the Ravens will win it.
I am shocked. Really
You
am.
thought you'd have more agreement.
Well, I thought the Ravens would be like the underdog, not the favorite.
Dude, they've
Dude,
they've
wait a
been through
minute.
so much wars. They went against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and all that. This little small game is like it's like Cheerios for them.
Small, dude, it's basically facing the Chiefs all over again. You have Tyreek.
Dude, Tua is that quarterback. I mean, he's better than he was last year, but like he doesn't have that experience. He hasn't faced Josh Allen in a crucial game. He hasn't faced Patrick Mahomes in a crucial game. You see what I'm saying? We have to see. We have to see that. We haven't seen it
This
yet.
isn't a crucial game. It's just week 2.
I know, but I'm saying against when you're going against other top quarterbacks in the league, like Lamar Jackson, we haven't seen him go head to head against a quarterback like that and be successful. I want to see it. We'll see how he does, but he doesn't have that experience. Lamar's been against Patrick Mahomes. I think they went against the Bills one time, right? So this is nothing to him.
Very well. Very well. All right. So everyone picking the Ravens. I picked the Dolphins. It's fine. It's fine. All right. That is it. That is all we had for today's episode of the Dorm Debate Podcast. Make sure, again, you hit the like button and comment down below your thoughts on the 2 games that we just mentioned, the Dolphins and the Ravens, and the Vikings Eagles. Tell me the winners of those 2 in the comments, and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you go and if you're on Apple Podcast, leave us a 5-star review. And if you're on Spotify, you can also do the same. Leave us a 5-star review. And go over to the TikTok. We're at, I think, 172,000 followers. So go show us some love over on there. And over on the Instagram, I think we're at 3,600 on the Instagram. So let's get those
37.
numbers up a little bit. 3,700.
We have fun there. We have fun everywhere. So come,
It's
come
great.
find us. Find us anywhere.
Kayla's been making great fantasy football posts, very informative posts. So go check those out over on there. All those will be in the description. And thank you guys again so much for watching. And as always, we will see you guys next week.